So on this tomato here, you can see it's got a central stem, and what we're aiming for, hang on, I'll just go over the back here. So you can see that one there has got a central stem going all the way up. And in order to get a central stem, you have to prick out what are called the laterals, which are, so over here we've got just a side shoot, but this one growing up in the middle here, that's a lateral, right? And you just prick it out, and then that will let the leader continue to grow up, and then these will shortly start producing flowers and consequently fruit. That's the idea, and that's what we've done with all of these. So it gives you not only a much neater, sorry, I swung too far. Oh, sorry. But better airflow, easier to pick and manage. Now, the idea of companion planting, where you have your companion plants in and around. Oh, there's some poles. And they're doing really well. Hardy. Look, we've had lots of rain and all sorts of things, and to be honest, I don't think anything is gonna kill those. And totally organic metal poles too. No, we don't use any pesticides on those at all. But fairly disease resistant. Rust, I guess, is the only thing that can get into them. But you know, there'll be predators that'll attack the rust, and they'll build up. And oh, look, they're doing great. Difficult to cook with, though. Long, slow cooking, I think. That's the best way. So, yeah, that's tomatoes. Companion planting. You'll see at the back of the bed we've got some basil. The idea of having a singular plant, you know, like a basil plant in between every tomato plant, maybe, you know, the garden experts may say that's a better way of doing the companion planting, for all the benefits of the companion planting, the beneficial pests and predators and all that kind of stuff. The problem is it makes the picking that much harder. If you don't have things growing in a clump, then, you know, we probably spend half an hour or more an hour each morning picking to take into the shop. And if you pick one plant and then you have to move and go to the next one, it really does increase your speed. So we've kind of gone for a hybrid idea where we'll plant in blocks. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. You have to understand too, I'm not talking to you as a garden expert. I'm talking to you as a chef who's the reaper. So, you know, we're living and learning with all of this. We've got some bush beans in there. We use those in our niçoise salad. Oh, gee, tomatoes. There's too much to talk about. I promised we were going to build some new beds, and we're building. So these are 2 new beds here. Down the end, we'll talk about the tyres later. Nice low profile ones too, actually. I think they're Pirellis. Sorry, I'll show you one more tomato. So I'd mentioned we're doing a couple of different things. The bramble, pricking out the laterals for a central leader. We've also got a trellis here, which we've used. This had previously some legumes in it, some, I think, snow peas we had in here. So these ones, we're just growing now some tomatoes up against the trellis, and we'll probably do the same idea of pricking out the laterals for a central line and let these grow up the trellis, so aiming for a line. And we'll see how that goes. I mean, it feels great in terms of kind of easy pickability, but obviously there's a fair amount of infrastructure to build big trellises, and, you know, it makes it harder for your rotation in your beds. Boy, that sounds like a principle some of my chefs have used, but not in the garden. Now, heading down here, we've got, as always, some fairly hard to control cucumbers. These are mini cucumbers, and they go in. We use those in all sorts of things. Cucumbers are great in that you just need to give them some space and some water, and then dedicate lots of time to picking, and that's about it. Some capsicums. It's late in the season for the little capsicums in there, and I'm not sure if you're going to get anything. We've had, as I said, a ton of rain looking down the back there, there's a little zucchini and rhubarb on the left. Coupled with some problems with our watering system where the solenoids haven't turned off properly and we've had some persistent dripping. We've lost one zucchini that was in that empty space in the back there. It basically just rotted, too wet, which is devastating. Zucchinis out of the garden are my favourite produce. Along here is our potato bed. Now all the spuds have finished growing, died back. We've cut them all back. So really what you're seeing is some that have self-seeded. We'll have to take those out. And then there's potatoes in there to pick. This is the strawberry bed. I'm looking forward to getting lots of strawberries next year in there. Now the bottom bed, I don't know if I showed you the monster sunflowers that have, of course they're all finished now, being almost the end of summer. More cucumbers. We've got cukes down here. We've got some caps at the front. A fairly sad looking zucchini, I guess more nature's overwatering. More Thai basil and basil at the back there. We've got a chilli in the back. Nectarine tree under net. Quick pan around. That's mandarin, rosemary. Now over here where we haven't built the nets, oh God, he can't even speak. These are beds that we haven't quite finished yet, so we figured, well, look, we'll plant some. We've got just different melons growing in there, melons and pumpkins and cucurbits of various persuasions that just generally ramble and go crazy. So we planted them in a tyre, just so that there was an easily identifiable place to water. We've just dragged some of the watering system over to give them some watering, and we'll just let them do their thing down here until that's all finished. And that's basically the garden tour for end of summer. And I just, not that you can see, but we've got our compost bays there. But in behind, since we've last spoken in this format, we've got some 8 chooks that are in the shed in behind there. So we're just starting to integrate the chooks into all of this. We're going to be experimenting with some electrified fencing, portable fencing, so that we can fence off areas of the garden and the chooks can live and work on a particular bed and kind of prepare that as we go. That might be for the next video. So anyway, there you go. There's the GZ kitchen garden, replete with the filmmaker's shadow. There it is. Say hi to the people at home, Paul. Hi. There you go. We'll talk some more.